The night was shattered by relentless gunfire, punctuated by the distant boom of artillery shells striking the earth. Amidst this chaos, Father Michael moved steadily through the shattered trenches, his hand clutching a worn leather-bound Bible, the faint glow of a flickering lantern illuminating his grave face. Soldiers around him trembled, eyes wide with fear and despair, yet they sought solace in the calm presence he offered. How did a simple man of faith become the lifeline in the unyielding hellscape of war? What secret burden did he carry while the world collapsed around him? 1944 Normandy. The air was thick with the bitter scent of damp earth, diesel, and burning wood. The relentless cold seeped through threadbare uniforms, clutching hands frozen to rifles and shivering bodies huddled in mud. The once vibrant countryside had been transformed into a graveyard of twisted metal, fractured trees, and silent echoes of fallen comrades. Here, in this forsaken no-man's land, Father Michael made his way not as a soldier, but as a shepherd among wolves. A Catholic chaplain attached to the 2nd Infantry Division, Father Michael's role was ostensibly to provide spiritual comfort and last rites. But the reality was far more harrowing. His days began before dawn, not with prayers in quiet chapels, but with the grim ritual of moving among the broken, tending to shattered minds and shattered souls. The moment that changed everything came unexpectedly on a rain-soaked morning. As the enemy launched a fierce counterattack, Father Michael's unit was caught in a deadly crossfire. The lines shattered, soldiers screamed, and in the chaos, a shell exploded mere feet away, sending Father Michael sprawling into the mud. Verbal orders dissolved into frantic shouts as men scrambled for cover. Wounded cried out for help that might never come. Father Michael, bleeding and shaken, refused to retreat. Instead, he began ministering to the wounded right there in the mire, reciting prayers over broken bodies, comforting the dying in the face of merciless death. His actions became a lifeline, an anchor that kept soldiers tethered to hope amid madness. But survival was not just physical. It was psychological torture. Father Michael witnessed horrors that no scripture had prepared him for, comrades transformed into hollow shells by fear and grief. His nights were tormented by dreams of soldiers lost beneath barbed wire and cries of children orphaned by war. Yet by day, his faith never wavered. He performed last rites in foxholes, soothed fractured nerves with whispered prayers, and became a beacon of resilience and defiance against the overwhelming despair. To the troops, Father Michael was a living paradox, gentle yet unyielding, calm yet consumed by inner turmoil. Private diaries, recently declassified, reveal his anguish. He wrote of moments when he questioned the very God he served, haunted by the devastation that faith seemed powerless to prevent. Yet it was precisely this struggle, the raw vulnerability behind his stoic facade, that made his presence indispensable. In one particularly harrowing incident, Father Michael ventured into a minefield to retrieve the body of a fallen soldier whose family begged for closure. Navigating the deadly terrain inch by inch, he risked his own life to grant dignity in death. This act of courage, hidden for decades, was emblematic of the chaplain's invisible war, an unspoken battle woven deeply into the fabric of combat. As the Allies pushed forward, Father Michael's role grew even more critical. Commanders reported that where he walked, morale surged. Men found strength to endure unspeakable conditions because of the faith he restored, if only temporarily. Yet behind the scenes, the chaplain battled exhaustion, isolation, and creeping despair. The image of serene chaplains, often portrayed in history books, belied the brutal emotional toll endured silently amid the roar of guns. The climax of Father Michael's ordeal came during the bloody Battle of the Falaise Pocket. Surrounded and outnumbered, troops faced annihilation. Communication lines were severed, and hope was a fragile ember. Father Michael moved fearlessly through the ruins, administering last rites, holding trembling hands, and offering prayers that transcended doctrine. They were prayers of survival, of humanity in the face of oblivion. In that crucible of fire, the chaplain was shot in the shoulder but refused evacuation. His defiant presence inspired a counterattack that helped save countless lives. Yet when the smoke cleared, the true cost was evident. Father Michael's scars ran far deeper than flesh. The mental wounds inflicted by such relentless suffering haunted him long after the guns fell silent. This leads us to a truth long buried beneath glorified tales of heroism and sanctity. Father Michael was not an unflappable figure immune to fear and despair. Declassified psychological evaluations Depict a man wrestling with PT.